Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, just for another interesting video really. One that's quite unexpectedly just come about really. I thought I might as well do this for, I don't know, and a bit of, I think the funny term is earn more views on this thing. I don't know, I'll get some more attention out of this video probably. Just funny really, I think it's hilarious. So as the title suggests, and as the logo suggests, I'm talking about Thomas and Friends for the final time, really. Well, one last time I'm going to talk about. I mentioned the show numerous times, of course. Obviously, I did because I did Path Nostalgia it on Cassette Confessions because I'm about the VHSs I owned of it, and also talk about the announcement of the All Engines Go thing. Really, that's animated reboot. And also I was talking about bits and pieces of the episodes and everything else from various different seasons, the show itself really, just generally, and just about, the future it's been plunged into really. But I never really dwelled upon the seasons really, like what are my sort of particular favourites of the season. And also the title suggests that I only watched it for a good number of years, as the title suggests, from 1984 to 2004. So basically that 20-year run really. I didn't continue anything after series 9. I just basically, you basically grow up and you just move on to other things really. And I never looked back really. I never progressed forward like many of the people like in the fandom have really, who have, continued on enjoying it or disliking it, maybe disliking it and then enjoying it, then disliking it again really. I was just basically just giving up really. After Series 8, I just stopped it. I basically stopped watching entirely, just moved on to things. I moved on to science fiction, I did, and never looked back. I moved on to other things. I moved on to to the action films, horror films, of course, and just basically anything else in general, really. Music as well. It's all, you progress really as you get older, and you never look back really. I look back recently, of course, like in the matter of years when I did YouTube, just looking back on stuff I used to watch, stuff I sort of remember really. And it's nice actually, really. And obviously, Thomas and Friends, well, obviously because it's a show I've seen countless times. I would say too many times, so that's a problem. It's like brain rot in places. This is how I look at it now, really, because obviously you become obsessed with the show in terms of its marketing. It's mainly with the videos in terms of physical media and everything. And obviously it drains you. You're sort of on a sugar high, really, in that regard, and it basically it diminishes other shows you liked as well, actually, because you've probably seen more Thomas and Friends stuff you have than say Fireman Sam, say Ragdoll as well. I used to love Ragdoll, all that sort of stuff. Bob the Builder, maybe some example as well. Used to be heavy into him, obviously when he first came around in the late 90s. And all these other things, there's other great shows, but obviously you think of Thomas and Friends as like the sort of magnum opus, really, and it's like he's the top of the tower, top of the pyramid, whatever, of your collections and stuff like that. The pinnacle of nostalgia, really, for many people. Probably still is, but over time, I've really just felt like obviously when I did the what was it, the top 26 shows I watched on home video, I ranked them and number 8 it, and so for the top 10, was it number 8? It wasn't on the top 5 or anything. Certainly not on number 1, because I think over time he's become a conglomerate, like a worldwide conglomerate, really. It's also he hadn't been bowed well really over time, because I never really looked back, and also I had you look at criticisms of what it's been doing. It's not the same as it used to be really, as I used to watch it really, and I think that's a definite thing about this really, about this ranking, because I just really wasn't enjoying it. It felt like it was still progressing on, and so you progressively watch it, of course, in my sake. But there come a point when you realise I'm really enjoying this as I used to really, and that's obviously when Series 8 and taken over, and it's like I'm gonna stop really here, obviously. And also you grow older. I think that I probably finished when I was about 6 or 7 really. I mean 7. A lot of people probably will know this, but it's a rule I've sort of looked at. I feel like, yes, it's acceptable. You see in videos, you say that they're suitable for children up to 7 years, really. And I think that's when I stopped watching Thomas and Friends entirely at the age of 7, obviously. And it says up to 7 years. You see this on videos, of course. You see this on every video even Ragnar videos, you see this, of course, like it's suitable for up to 7 years, of course, and that's the limit. Like probably stuck really, and obviously, you just finish really. So at 7 years old, I just never look back really, until I came back on in my teenage years when I did a project in college. I did when I was at school and thing, whatever, doing your own, what do you call it? You make your own book for children and stuff like that. So I'd look back all these resources and everything else, and obviously look back at everything that I used to watch and know about, which is a fascinating experience, really. I also looked at shows that I watched, but never actually, watched at the time, but never really thought about as much, really. So like Winston Willows and maybe some more things like Boston Power, which I live in, obviously the sort of area that he was created in actually, and where Greendale's sort of based around really nearby. So like Farming Stan also, and other stuff, and so I Forest Farm and everything else. You sort of look back at it and think, actually that's pretty good stuff, really. You look at Thomas, it's like a bit of again a kind of a mass, really, that just overflows everything, really, and you just sort of look, you're thinking, yeah, that's a bit too much, really. I think it's like that one sweet you have all the time, but it's like you're obsessed with, really. It's like, and you somehow get sick of it after maybe 8 years. It's like, really. So there we go. So I'll start watching, really. So for this final video to talk about Thomas. So yeah, sorry, there's a little bit of too much. Yeah, I do apologise. So yeah, so let's not really. I mean, I was thinking about planning something, but stream cut a little bit. Let's do this. So let's go for the 8 and rank them. What my ranking is actually. Some may disagree with what I really put on in positions, but we'll get to it. So let's do this. So in number 8 is Series 8. So this is the last series I've watched fully actually. I've only seen 20 episodes of the series actually when it first came out on DVD, really. So the 3 individual DVDs, probably the ones I haven't seen are probably the last ones I released on Tales from Tracks DVD, really. But I've seen the ones prior, so like Trio for Thomas, Percy and the Magic Carpet, whatever, Thomas and the Circus, Spick and Span, Halloween, Thomas to Rescue, Henry the Wishing Tree. Those are all episodes, really. So there we go. The problem is though, the writing is really just, when it taken over, it's very much Americanizing Thomas, really too much a younger demographic. I think, and also done the run time, and it also just because I only seen them as individual episodes. I never saw them on an airing block, really. As apparently I found out recently that's what they did, really. So they did 2 episodes and put series 7 episode in between, and learning segments. I've seen learning segments. They're shit. They're really just like. You can tell this is an American company trying to appeal for a very younger demographic, and it's absolute tripe. It is. It's really just not what you expect from the show from the previous 7 series, really. The music by Robert Harshaw is terrible. It's really just I find it just bland and just uninteresting. It's basically wallpaper music in some regards, like stock wallpaper music. There's never really doesn't add up. There's not much. What Mike and Junior did. They actually really did some fantastic. I always praise them. They really do fantastic stuff, really. But what Harshaw and probably to some extent Ed Welsh did, it just makes it flat, really. Really. So that's one thing. Filming, they use models still. Everything was filmed on models, filmed at Shepperton, fair enough. Camera work, I was a bit put off by it, really, when I first saw it, for this digital 60 frames per second, whatever it was, look to it. It felt very odd. It was like something new and interesting, so that's what they probably did. Maybe, do something. It felt a bit weird first, but I saw just saw afterwards, really. Maybe the first episode I saw, really, on the DVD, the first DVD that came out actually, and it was really just like I don't know, really. It felt, again, a bit of an interesting step in direction. Really for that one. Obviously, it's directed by Steve Asquith, who worked under Mitten's shadow, really. At that point, he did actually 2 episodes in Series 6, but obviously this is his first proper role as director doing the whole series, really, entire series, and I think I'll give him credit for that, really. But everything else, I mean, in terms of, I think in terms of like with hits corporate stuff of it, like in terms of toning it down, Angelis's narration is, uh, it's not as energetic as it was. It's more slowed down and more storybook level, really. I won't say all like Mingo Star in series one, but it feels lower down. It feels like he's just like the charm's gone out of it. It has, and I really just don't. Just if the writer's saying like stuff and stuff like that, it's very like it's more like you rather just fall asleep really, and it's just like obviously it gets repetitive. It all gets that sort of thing later on in the series really. I mean in terms of stories and everything, and indeed I think the big problem is, and I've actually found out recently through the Unlucky Tugs, work he's doing, which is wonderful. If you haven't seen his stuff, check if you're into the Thomas fandom, definitely worth checking his stuff out. Really good stuff. He's come back in a big way. Fantastic stuff he's done. He does this on certain characters and how the later model era tends to change characters' personalities and stuff like that, and the character development. You get this in you sort of get this in also the CGI stuff we mentioned earlier. It gets way worse indeed because you get Edward, who's let's say like a hapless virgin. I think it's described as like old and weak, and also just like he's half full of self doubt. Never was like that. He was never like that. In those first 7 series, he was never like that. Toby, he's more worried a bit. Self doubt, more worried about a bad job he's going to take and do, like an easy simple job. And also he's like in a panic, sort of like in a panic mode, like not like full on panic, like mental panic mode, but he's always worried about things, like personally worried about things. Is he too clean? Is he just like, can he take off from everyone where he works or something? It's like that's not what he's about. Seriously, And I think to some extent, it could be like a behind the scenes stuff. Like some of the people who probably went to hit something that didn't have a clue what that shit, what the Lower series was, what Tom and Friends was beforehand. It's probably thinking, we'll just rewrite some characters or whatever, which is lazy bullshit. That is, I probably, and it doesn't work well. And obviously you get the whole Thomas Bice stuff as well included. I think it's from series 9 onwards it gets heavily worse. It does. It is really, really to me. This is. I think it's probably like I think with all these changes and everything else and changing music, character development and everything else, and maybe if it was extended runtime, this is probably a good reason why I jumped off ship really so early on. So at least I didn't have to witness all the brain numbing, just like being dumbed down with all this shit that's been happening really. Yeah, it's filled with models, which is good, and but I think at that time really we never saw any new characters actually. Thankfully, what series 9 onwards really did, and it's like really, in terms of like some old characters, just in terms of stories, what they are, it just feels just too laid back, too lazy to me. Again, really for a younger demographic, whereas Stone and Friends was basically just like a show you plonk on, on CITV amongst cartoons like the Real Ghostbusters or other stuff, game shows as well. It fit in that mold. It did. It didn't look out of place if you ever watched it at that time. Back in the 80s and 90s, really. Also, Cartoon Network. It was on Cartoon Network as well in the States. And probably here if you had satellite. That was the thing. That's what it never felt out of place. You look at a show, it's like that's pretty good. Yeah, it's got morals and stuff like that. Got interesting characters, short, and most probably in 5 minutes. Yes, it's good. Now, when you look at it now, and how it was, when you look at now in like from series 8 onwards, it just feels like it's played into the young demographic. They did try to do that with the Brenner era, try and bring something, revitalize its energy and not maybe. I won't say not talk down. Don't talk down to the kids, the younger demographic. Make the stories interesting, which this whole did actually in some regards. Really, I only found about this recently. I never seen any of this stuff via through Unlucky Tug's videos and whatnot, or people's responses to it, really. But I haven't fully sat down and watched any of this this CGI stuff or anything. I really just think, it's not my thing. I've watched my thing. Time to move on. So it's like, I just felt like that. I'm one of those people who probably watched, from maybe in the early 2000s, just gone off really. It's like, fuck this show. It's like that really. So just in hindsight, Series 8, it's down below. Probably it's the worst out of the 8 I've seen. Just in terms of the story, story narration, character development, behind the scenes stuff, but the production work still solid. It's interesting techniques what they do, and the music sucks. So there we go. In at number 7, Series 7. I think the problem is I noticed. Well, I've watched a video recently actually, and it actually focuses on the production of it actually, because this came out straight after Series 6 in 2002. This came out in 2003, Series 7, and it was like a rush production. So it does feel like it's rushed sometimes. And they use a lot of stuff footage as well from previous old episodes from Series 1 to, from Series 1 to 5 really, and sometimes 6 really. It feels like that. It's like a show that's, like, get this over and done with, these stories, and it's like, maybe all we used to see, we'll put some snow effects on top of it, and, I don't know. But I would say it does feel like the path where, Hit was taking the show really. You see this, even though it was produced really, basically while Hit was buying out the rights to it, it does feel like it's taking that direction really into the morals, character morals, and that sort of thing really. Yeah, it's still directed by David Mitton and done by his crew, yes, and also it's got that 4.5-minute runtime, yes, it does, and the music by Michael Jr. Really fantastic stuff, and brilliant narration, and good narration by Michael Angelis. I just don't know. It's really just something doesn't really feel right, really, about it. Yeah, some good stories in it. Good, some spotlight types focus on Donald Douglas, Oliver, and other characters really. Salty as well in some, in some regards. Then we've got a new character, Emily, who I forgot to mention actually in Series 8. Her character totally flipped the switch. She became an arrogant bitch, and this one she's more kind, more friendly, more. I would say again like mature, friendly, whatever you call it, which suits her better in this series, obviously. I just don't know. It never, looking back on it, it's never really clicked really with me. Sometimes I don't know. I think because of story, and you've also got stories like the Old Bridge, and it feels that really warp different characters' section, really, whatever. And it's like, there's some good stuff in it. Good stuff, good chase scenes, of course, like runaway stuff as well. Some good crashes as well. Some interesting incidents as well. Good characters as well. Some main characters you probably never see. Never see much really. Well, it's all peering in and out really. So like Arthur, Murdoch, Fergus. Obviously, we know about the production really, onto his model. Never used anything because it didn't work. And Emily, of course. Again, pretty good stuff actually. Good models, good model work, and everything. Everything else. I think because it's a rush production, obviously by Mitton and his crew, it hampers it a little bit actually, and it feels very half baked as well, obviously. And the final story ends off with Thomas and Bertie having a race really, so it's like I don't know. So I ranked Series 7 and number 7, so 7 plays Series 7. And speaking of which, of course, we go to number 6, Series 6, 2002. I probably say this is the last great Thomas season that I actually really enjoyed. Really, a lot of people probably. I think I did shit on Series 6 when I did the 26, favorite, home, when I did the 26 favorite home video shows on home video, whatever. And that 2-part, put in number 8, I did slag off Series 6 quite a bit. Actually, to be fair, I remember actually looking back at it, it's actually a really good season. The phenomenal stories. Michael Angelis has actually got a lot of energy in this show. Same with like what he done in the 3 previous ones, especially like Series 5. His narration is energetic. There's some brilliant music as well. Really good stuff by Michael Jr. Good direction. Some good and memorable stories as well. But you get stuff like the Fogman. You get Going Takes a Tumble. Thomas the Jet Engine. Percy Chocolate Crunch. World's Strongest Engine. Duncan. which I remember seeing. I think I saw it first time on CITV. I think actually, I think they broadcast on CITV at the time. Really, I remember my mum taped off for me many odd years ago, a long time ago, on tape somewhere. Probably got trashed or over-filmed or something like that. But I remember watching it. Really good stuff. That's a memorable story. That's really good. So see, again, like a copy of it somewhere, and just watch on video. I think on VHS at the time, really. Got on DVD later actually for Chocolate Crunch, but just a really good, stuff like that. Again, maybe like It's Only Snow as well on CITV. Seeing that, I saw that first on CITV actually. Christ, that was again really good season. Just memorable stories really at that time. Really good. Again, good characters as well. Salty and Harvey, and who else? Was there another one? Elizabeth, that's it. Yeah. Also, yeah, I do remember that actually, yeah. Also seeing like it, you used to get magazines, of course. I think in the back actually, or within the magazine, there was promoting the Frogmen on VHS and DVD at the time. Really, I remember this actually because they had an image of Jack Frost on there as well, which was never included on that video. Strangely, I kind of think it did. I should do actually. It need to. It didn't get released onto the complete Series 6 DVD, all things really, many odd years ago. It's like, yeah. So they missed out on quite a few stories that had never been released on home video at the time, really, when Series 6 was still around, or airing, really. That's a bit weird. Jack Frost is one of them, actually. I felt like, yay, that'll be good. That's why I saw a lot of it. I was like, what the fucking else happened to Percy? Icicles hang like all around his face, and I love his, it's a bit strange, actually. That's all very much like it all sticks with you. That does really. It's like what the hell? And obviously, it was never included on the video, the Fogman, which was meant to be advertised on. I think I saw it. I think I did see it on television when it was broadcast on television, actually. So yeah, I would have seen it on television when it's broadcast at one point. CITV more likely. So yeah, but Series 6. Really good series, fantastic. I think at this point we get to the better stuff we do, obviously. So obviously we've reached the classic period now. Like when you have debates, the classic period. What's the golden age of it? I think series 1 to 5 is the classic period. Obviously from 1904 to 1998. 6 and 7 are sort of like afterthoughts in a way. I don't know. I always figure that afterthoughts really, but I do think. I just don't know. It's a bit of an odd thing. It's a very divisive opinion. It is really, but. I do think Series 1 and 5 are the classic era, really. Obviously, it's produced in the 20th century, of course, in the 80s and 90s. So I do see it as the classic era, really, from its time. 6 and 7 is more like the gleam period, really. I think people would describe that and now see Series 8 onwards, it's hit era. I think you can tell it. I think, so hit era, you probably say, 8 till 16. And then it's Mattel era from onwards, really, until the very end. So 17 to 24. There we go. I wanted the show to finish at 26, and make it. That'd be really good. Do 2 more series and then do series 26, then go wherever you want to do. Be like the classic series of Doctor Who. That'd be amazing. That'd be some really good parallels. Parallel between each season, obviously from 1963 to 1999, and that'll be something. Which is better. Or like Last Summer Wine, I don't know. Who knows? Oh god. So Series 6, fantastic series, really good. I have a lot of memories of that time, really. Really good stuff. Fantastic series, really good. Just enjoyed. I won't say it's top. Is good. I'd probably say the last great Thomas Tantra Friends series. Really, I think looking back on it, just everything. The energy of it, of course, the stories, narration. There's always some good long stuff, and actually doing a lot of interesting stuff, really. It works, it does. It's just good. So there we go. Let me think actually. I think out of the bunch, really, I think Series 8 itself 20 episodes. Series 7, I'm trying to think actually, I've probably seen more of. Let me think. I think it was about 3 episodes actually. I think it was When Ace the Roller Coaster, What's My Henry, and also Hasty Puddings, that's it. So I've seen 23 out of that series. Series 6, I probably saw all of it apart from Jack. Did I? Apart from owning them on home media, I'll probably say, yeah, so Series 8, 20, Series 7, 23, there were 3 episodes missing from there. Yeah, 3 episodes missing from there. Series 6, 25. Obviously, Jack Frost has never released some DVD or video at that point, really, so there we go. So I've seen a good majority, actually. You may have, as always with home video releases, you always never get the episodes you really want, really. So there we go. I'm trying to remember now, actually. So yeah, so 20, 23, 25, of course. So let's go for the top 5 now. And obviously, this is going to be a shocking opinion now. So this is going to be like a shocking one, this is. And quite a controversial place to put this one. So in number 5 is Series 4 from Last Night 5. Now, hear me out. Series 4 is it's a really good series. It's fantastic. It is. Good production. The narrow gauge episodes are really good. Fantastic. And also you got the last half with the mainline engines, of course. At the end, it's more of a narrow gauge era, really, because most of them, a good majority of the series takes place on the Skylar Railway. Really good stuff. Fantastic. Good narration, good stories, brilliant sets and everything else. The look of it is amazing. Really good stuff, but why is it number 5? Now, the problem is with Series 4, if you were a kid in the 90s, to complete a collection, you had to buy the videos, of course, at the time. The problem was you had to complete the Series 4 collection between 1994 and 1997. I don't know if I mentioned this in Confessions, I don't know. But when I was sorting out, to collect, August Thomas videos, of course, they probably have like one episode you haven't seen yet, actually, like exclusive episode on this compilation of other stuff really from Series 1 and 2, released in 97, which is fucking frustrating, that is. Up until the complete 4th series, which I think was came out in 2001, actually, if I'm not mistaken. You had to collect 6 videos to complete Series 4, which is fucking stupid. That was. Excuse me. That was fucking stupid. So from 1994 to 1997, that was like, to collect 6 videos to complete that fucking series. So, because let me just, so the videos you probably had to collect to complete that series was Rock and Roll Love Stories, the very first one. Then it was Thomas's Train and 17 Other Stories. There was Thomas and Stepney. So that's those first ones there. They were released by a video collection at the time. Obviously, that rebranding became VCI, and then afterwards you had to get Story and Song Collection. Then it was Playtime. Then Chases, Races, Runaways, and that's how you complete Series 4 at that time, just to get all the episodes. Because for some stupid fucking reason, especially like 97, VCI decided to put one individual episode on, this bleed compilation against sell more to get more cash. Money grabbing, that's the fucking problem then, lot, really, at the time. So it's like, again, trying to rebuild company, it's a fucking stupid thing, that is. Honestly, looking back on it now, and actually me saying this stuff now, and actually it probably might give some people, especially UK fans, like, yeah, definitely, because they keep releasing all this sort of stuff, really, compilation between series and whatnot. Just trying like focus on the theme or something like that, doing like a party theme, or I don't know, some episodes slotting, or we'll do activities, we have an activity sheet with inside, or something, cost you $7.99 or something from Woolworths or something. Really, that's the frustrating thing about that. So yeah, that's one of my main issues with that, actually, trying to obtain episodes from there. And in doing so, I've seen less stories from Series 4, especially when I was growing up, really. In total, I would have seen only 15 Series 4 episodes at the time, really, if I was growing up. Obviously, later on, of course, completed the collection, really, but some of the videos don't really hang up as well, like stuff like Rock and Roll, Story and Song Collection, Playtime, and Chester Runaways, they don't mean much to me. Whereas Thomas's Train and Thomas's Stepney do, really, because I had those when I was, I explained in Cassette Confessions, I went through the whole, what stories they included throughout that video, those VHS tips, really. So they mean much to me, really. So, and the other one I probably see is John's Play School Favourites, which had Thomas's special letter on it. So there we go. So I've seen that's the only series I've probably seen the less episodes of, really, more so. Obviously then from that series, the three series beforehand, actually, believe it or not. Because I saw some home video when they got released. They did so because they released them at this time, really. So there we go. Really, so that's the main issue with series 4. That's why it's lower down, because I've seen less episodes. I've seen less episodes of series 4. When I was growing up, really. Then I've seen more episodes of series 6, 7, and 8 actually. The home video all being broadcast on television, really, at that time, especially 6 and 7 more likely. But it's just a thing. But series 4 is a wonderful series. I love series 4. It's great. Memorable stories, really good stuff actually. It's just the problem is, trying up to, the whole gaining the series, getting a home video at that time, really, especially for me. All the time. This would have been before the complete series 4 come on, the double VHS box sets, whatever. You had to get 6 videos to complete that collection, and that was a fucking ball like that was. You have to find out where it would go, like cardboard sales or whatnot, to look for it. And that was just infuriating, that was. And it's probably left that damn taste in my mouth, really. That sort of like bittersweet thing about it with series 4. Because I've seen less episodes of it. Out of all these series, that's the one series I've seen the least episodes out. I haven't seen 20, I saw 15 of that series, at the time, really. I never fully absorbed series 4. So, it has, and as much as it's a really good series, it's fantastic. See, if I saw it as a whole, when I was growing up in the 90s, of course, late 90s or whatever, it would have been higher, it might have been higher. You never know. But obviously, I never saw all of it, most of it, or like 20 episodes or something like that, it was, it just seems to be useless, really, to be honest. But there we have it, really. So, at number 5 is series 4. In at number 4, series 1 from 1984, the very first series. So I think out of the bunch, really, this one and one of the other contenders I saw entirely, actually. I've seen all 26 episodes of this series. It's interesting, really, because good music, really good stuff, really, and and the stories I've chosen actually are pretty good. There's memorable stories. There'll be a few couple actually I've mentioned, Thompson and Guard, and maybe some like Tales and Turntables, Trouble in the Shed, Percy Runs Away. Yeah, they're good. The fan favourites, of course. I just don't know. I feel like it sort of took a little slight decline when he reached there, really. And I feel like, really, there we go. But I think everything else entirely is good. The filming wise, it's more storybook. It's more static. One shot, tight shot. There's no, from series 2 onwards, you probably have like all moving cameras and then mess with the camera because they're a big studio to mess with. It feels very contained. Series 1 feels very contained, and I love stories like Thomas's Breakdown Train, Whistles and Sneezes, Down the Mine, all that sort of stuff. James Express, I love as well. Interestingly. But again, memorable stories. The problem is Ringo's narration is not really as good as it was. It's very more, it's more energetic in the second series, and which I'll get into at some point. But here, it's like he's found his feet, really. Of course, I mean, it's more story. Again, it's more storybook-esque, really, in terms of its sets, its narration, and I think just how it's filmed, really, how it's produced, and everything. Really, I mean, it's a good job on them, really. But obviously, it's filmed in a place called Clapham Junction or something where it was. But there we go. I can't really say much about it. I think that's the whole sort of holdback about it, actually. With Ringo's narration, and some of the episodes are a bit, really. I'm not very keen on, really. Thompson and Guard, really, is probably one of my least favourites of that series. Is my least favourite of that series, really. But there you go. I think that's how it is, really. But I've seen all the way through. I had 3 VHSs, of course. So I've seen the whole series in its entirety when I was younger. All 26 episodes. So there we go. Nothing to say, really. But it's a good season. If series, it is what it is, and it's good, really. It's just it has some few bit of disadvantages to it, really, sometimes. So in number 3 is series 3 from 1992. I've only seen 20 episodes of the series, actually. Obviously, most of it comes from that Trust Thomas video, really. And to be fair, some of the videos on the episodes on that one are probably the weaker ones, actually, of that series. Henry's Forest, Trouble with Mud, No Joke for James. Let's see what else is on that video. Ever Travel and a Really Useful Party. Um, oh god, anything. Um, yeah, yeah, that's it. I think it's about those. I think those are the week. They're the weaker episodes actually on the video really. Whereas on the videos like Time for Trouble and Escape, they had better stories. Actually, I love those stories. All those in between really. Time for Trouble and Escape. On those videos, they're solid episodes. Obviously, I've seen the way through, so I enjoy them more really. I just think they're really good stories. Trust Thomas, obviously, I got later actually, and I just don't hold those episodes in regard really. Apart from like Thomas Percy and the poster and Toby's Tightrope, which appear on Trust Thomas and Same Time Stories really. Yeah, it just Mavis, I think, is good, and same with Trust Thomas. Actually, I really enjoy it. In terms of its crash and its accents, really, it's like it's memorable from cover as well. And if you go up in the 90s, you probably have a video of him going like crashing this like what do you call it, like a ferry barge or something, really. Like this pole ferry weather thing. Um, it's memorable. But the episodes on that video are sort of just there really. It's like I'm not really interested. I just never really. I probably if I had that video when it came out along with the other three, had a complete series three, whatever. Time for Trouble, Trust Thomas, and Escape. I probably might consider it a bit better, more better really. I'd probably say, maybe stick on this one really. But I think I might more more nice things about it really if I saw it in whole really as a kid, more of a nostalgia thing really. Until you probably but a good portion of it. The 20 episodes I've seen are phenomenal, really good stuff. One problem I have though is with the latter half of series three, which is from Buzz to Buzz to Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure, is Michael Angelus's narration. That's the problem. The sound quality is terrible. It feels like he's recorded in like a fucking Pyrex box with his head on it, or something. Because it sounds really condensed and it sounds horrible if you listen to it compared to his narration in the first 16 episodes. Whatever, it's brilliant. It's good. But the sound quality in the last 10 episodes are really horrible. I just don't know what. I just don't get it really. I don't know if it's like from it's like an audio defect or something, or something's happened in the audio during the mixing. I don't know, really. Or because obviously you look at the restored stuff, like the restored on DVD, it still sounds the same. I just found it really just. I don't know if it's everyone's really mentioned about that narration of the last 10 episodes. I just don't know. It just really puts me off sometimes. It just sounds like he's got like a plastic box on his head. And he's speaking through it. It sounds like it. It's weird. It feels a bit. It's very off-putting. It only happens in these 10 episodes, thankfully. So it's never been his narration from the first 16 is from series 4 onwards. It's really it's crystal clear and good. I'm just not sure about these 10 episodes though. It's really obviously they came out. Like the last 10 episodes. They probably came from a different production point really, because when the first 6 episodes came out were filmed first, and they all just continued on really all something happened. I don't know really. I'm not sure about the whole details about it, but this all the last ones, of course, and stuff was a bit of a turnaround. I don't know. It does feel like that though, really. But I love the 10 episodes. This Michael's narration is it's I know it's off-putting. It's off-putting for the sound quality of it, But it's there because you look at it. It feels like it's very compressed and it's just odd sounding really compared to what you heard from beforehand on Time for Trouble to Escape. It's a different thing. It's like yin and yang, whatever. But there we go. So series 3 is at number 3. So there we go. So we reached the top 2. What's it going to be? What's it going to happen? Is it going to be series 5? Is it going to be series 2? Who knows? I don't know really. Just beforehand, actually, comment down below on what's your ranking of the series. If you've seen it in for the entirety from 1 to 24, good on you. You can rank them up if you want. If you want to do your top 5 favourites, just fair enough. Or just select a few, or maybe a few favorite episodes, whatever. Of the show really. Just why your personal favourites, fair enough. Just comment down below. I just don't mind that really. I like to see what other people's opinions are. So there we go. So number 2, series 5 from 1998. I mean, series five is memorable because it's different. Obviously, from the first four series, you've got stuff based on the Railway series, of course, and maybe the stories based on magazine stories by Andrew Brent, of course. You get that some a little bit in there as well, actually, in this series. But fucking Christ, they really go whole hog on this series. They do in terms of practical effects, narration, story wise as well. It can be action packed, it can be funny, it can be scary, it can be all sorts. It varies in tone. This series does. It makes it more interesting, cinematic. David Mitchell and his crew go fucking whole hog on this, this series in terms of what we can achieve, and basically just go, fuck it, we got some millions of pounds. Let's just enjoy it and take our cake and eat it, and let's do, and just whatever. And Jesus Christ, they really do pull a bang on the series. They do. I would say out of the Michelangelo stuff I've watched, this is my favorite because his narration is solid. It is really good. It's memorable in terms of dialogue and also how he does stuff as well, in terms of like other stuff. I mean, I think he has this weird, I don't know, we call like a weird woo sound thing that he does. It really appears for the series, really, but I don't know if that's like edited in, I don't know. It's weird. It keeps reoccurring in that series. It's a bit of a weird thing, actually, in terms of if else. Whereas Alec Baldwin, of all actors, narrate Thomas and Friends in the States, does other stuff really. He also makes James a homosexual in that series. Fucking hell, that's a bit of an odd thing. But it's a really good series. I've only seen 2 episodes of it at the time, really. So, Spooks and Surprises, Happy Holidays, and Rescues on the Railways. As I mentioned before, in case confessions, you probably check them out. Check my reactions on those, and I go in a little bit of a detail of the episodes. Really, not briefly of the episodes in that series. Really, if you'll check it out. Obviously, I never had PP Party a bit later on, really. So stuff like Lady Hat's Birthday Party, Bar, Double Team Troubles, Thomas Percy and Slow Coach, Happy Ever After, and Busy Going Backwards. I don't have a nostalgic flair for them really sometimes, but in general, they are good stories. They're really good stories. They are fantastic stories. Series 5 has no weak stories in it. This is the thing. There's no weak stories in it. Some people probably complain, maybe like Thomas and the Rumors or stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know actually, but everything else just seems phenomenal, action-packed, and well written. Also because they had a aerobics element called David Mamet on board as well, and that sort of gives it a bit more of an edge, really. Because it's based on real. Some episodes are based on real life events, really, in railway history. Something like David Mamet had experienced himself, or working on the railway itself in his time, really, and maybe a few historical events, like especially a bit of Gordon, obvious homage or like a weird adaptation of it or something, or like a good reference to that, sort of event in Paris, at that time. But really, it's just really good stuff. Really fantastic. Good music, set design, everything else. Its tone, everything else. It can be freaky sometimes as well. It can be scary. In terms of close-ups as well. You always get this in bloody, in that sort of series. You get close-up of faces, like short faces. That's creepy as fuck. That is. I always get freaked out by that. Especially when they get very close up to a character's face. Sometimes that can be freaky. Sometimes. That's that some unscary scenes, the unscary scenes really can be like that. But generally, it's just really it's a good thrill ride. All 6 episodes. There's a good thrill ride, good humor. You get some episodes focused on the fact control himself solely with his family, mainly about his going to his wife's birthday party or trying to take a holiday with the grandkids or whatever. Again, just really good stuff. It's really good humor as well. Good accents, good practical effects included, good characters. Even the one-off characters you don't see are actually, again, really good stuff. Again, really, really good. It's a shame they never really pursue with another one like that, really. But it was queuing up for Magic Railroad, which we don't talk about. We never talk about Magic Railroad. No. But it was like, I guess, like a thing. Like, what can Mitter's crew do? Obviously, try and make a Thomas and Friends movie. Just go whole hog on everything. So there we go. So yes, that's series 5. Really good stuff. That leads series 2, number 1. My favourite series, really. It's the best Ringo series ever because of his narration. He's got a lot of energy in this series. Ringo's got a lot of good energy. And I love every single episode of the series. I've seen all 26 episodes of the series, and if I've seen all 26, obviously I've seen them, same series one. I've seen all 26 episodes out through its entirety. Again, it's interesting. Like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer? You love the Ringer era, but what do you prefer? Do you prefer series one or two? I've always preferred series two. I do. Good characters, good music. The struck from front to back, from Thomas Person Cole to Thomas the Missing Christmas Tree. I love every single story I do. It's really good. A lot of people probably say, no, well, they probably say some stuff like Bel Air Never is a bit crap, really. But you know, but I love Bel Air Never. I think I love it. Yeah, it's filler, of course, but I just love it. I do. Watching Secrets, of course. I'm watching like on video, of course. I get something good out of it. I do. I really do. Good stories, you know. Obviously, there's the main thing, of course. There was a cancelled episode of The Missing Coach as well. Obviously, I mean, that was partly filmed throughout, the production of series two, but it was never complete. I think for obvious reasons, I understand that. And actually, you look at it now, and The Missing Coach is a very confusing story, of course. Yes, it's all introduced John Douglas, of course, but you've also got them changing tenders, and that's confusing because they're both the same engine, but with different tenders on it. It's a bit of a confusing, and obviously Bulgakov decided to just cancel the episode entirely. I think if you look, in hindsight now, yes, that could be quite confusing, really, if you look at it, because it's it's a pretty stupid idea that Roberts thought of, really, in terms of the book. In terms of the story itself, The Missing Coach, it's a bit of a stupid plan, really, to fool the fact controller, really, But again, swapping tenders. Swapping tenders. They're the same freaking engine. They could just, that engine can go, and the other one takes the rap, really, rather than swapping fucking tenders. Well, yeah, it's confusing if you look at it now. Yes, in hindsight, it's like with a shoot. Even for me, actually, I should have never retconned the bloody thing. I should, done The Missing Coach in Series 8 if I did when I did my What If series. Just ended last year. Oh God, I thought it's a bit of an interesting idea just to use the footage that was, the episode's footage or whatever. This was one episode we could plonk it that next series, whatever. Story-wise, I can probably look at that. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a confusing one. It's like people over kids' heads, really. It's like, yeah, but and people's like, Douglas is going. And it's like, no, he's done with it. Yeah, it's quite confusing. It is really. Speaking of, although, maybe. Would it be good? Would it be if that was included instead of like one of the episodes they actually plonked on? I'm not too sure which one would have been actually Bel Air Never. Actually, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. There's still a mystery to that. There is. Oh, actually, what episode would have replaced that? Who knows? As a last minute thing. Just who knows? So there we go. But series two. Let's go back to that. Really good stuff. Memorable episodes. Fantastic production. I just love it. Of course, it's very nostalgic for me. Just down to the episodes itself, the advertisement on the screen, legend stuff as well. That's really good. It makes it just good, phenomenal episodes. Every single episode is really good. I love every single episode of it. It's a start. It's nostalgia. It just basically is like it's just wonderful. I just love it. I do. Nothing else to say. So there we go. Series 2 is number 1. There we go. So that's it. That's my ranking of the 8 series of Thomas and Friends, or Thomas and Friends, whatever you put it, from 1984 to 2004. A bit of an interesting video, a bit of an insight, and also what my feelings of the show are, really, or what I've seen at the time, really, many odd years ago, really. So there we are. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the last video we're talking about the show, really. So there we go. Just like a last-minute coda thing, really, just to think of, and yeah, I enjoyed looking back on it actually. Actually reevaluating what I like or love, dislike, really. Love, like, what I hate, what I love, what's positive, what's negative. So there we go. There we go, guys. Anyway, I'll see you for the next video. See you guys.